Hello and welcome back to another episode of HD Movie Talk. I am your host, Deans with the most beans, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend. I really feel like I've grown closer to him over the course of doing this podcast, and now I would consider him a person. Fluffy Duffy.
Okay, see, you started getting me confused with your intro because I always considered you like Dean with like an average amount of beans, but now apparently I'm talking to Dean with the most beans. So I don't know, when did that change?
A few hours ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I should clarify that opening because I always like I often tell a little joke about how I don't like Harlan in the opening. And then
Yeah.
this time I was like, no, I'll be truthful. And then I started being truthful. And I was like, this is getting a bit too real. So I, so I dialed it back a bit. I don't know if you noticed the bit where I dialed it back.
It was like after no, I noticed. I noticed where your brain started going
Yeah.
like,
I was like, oh,
he sucks.
this is a bit too real. I am a male, so I never show my emotions.
There you go.
And that's something I want all our listeners to learn. That's a
Well,
joke. If any young men are listening, be vulnerable, be open with people, and if you're struggling, let someone know. And
but if you're an old man,
yeah,
keep it to
don't
yourself.
keep it all in. We don't want to hear about it. But also,
Jokes.
don't listen to Andrew Tate. I don't know where all this is coming from. Can you tell like I'm a bit out of it?
No, I can't.
This has got to be one of our longest intros ever. Anyway, today we are doing episode 3 of Sequelify,
Yes.
where
And we
we
are doing.
where we
Oh,
take
go
a
go ahead.
movie. No, you describe what's going on here. I need to shut up for a bit.
Okay. So Sequelify
Sequelify.
is that's what I said. Sequelify is our series where we take a movie that is a standalone movie and we create a sequel for it. We sequelify a movie or
Yeah,
sequelify.
we take
What
a
did I
movie.
say?
Yeah, yeah. We take a movie we enjoy and we're like, hey, how could we ruin this by making a sequel?
Yeah, exactly. So in the past we've done um The Truman Show, Joker,
And
and
now
today
they call me baby driver. Once I got a pair of wheels, I hit the road and I'm gone. What's my number? I don't want to be taken down
Hey
for
Dean, yeah,
copyright, so I'll stop
I
singing.
was literally about to say like Dean, like we're gonna get strike for this
They're like,
because it
hey,
sounds
you're clearly just
exactly like it.
playing a song. As you can
Yeah,
see, Baby Driver is on my wall behind me.
yes,
And
and so
what's
is
it
the
next
Truman
to?
Show.
Yeah. I used to have Joker in my last room, but I
What
got rid of
happened
that
to it?
poster. I feel short on this camera. Anyway,
Because you Dean's actually like 3'7" in real life.
we're not getting into this again. On my For You page, one of the videos we filmed when we were together came up, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this. And I went to the comments, and your comment was real ones no Dean is a short king.
Because you are. Hey,
And
hey, Short King's not bad.
if
Like it.
I'm not insecure about my not short height, If I was
Yeah,
short, which I'm not, I wouldn't be insecure about it and I wouldn't care
the
about
only
looking
bad
good.
thing about how short you are is like it hurts my neck looking down to like meet your eyes. You know what
It
I
hurts
mean?
my neck
Because you're just
looking
like
down at you all the time. What is
you
going
know
on today? Should we
you're
like
like
start
tugging on my
talking?
pants, being like,
I'm
"Excuse
always
me,
tugging on your
Fluffy
pants, bro.
Duffy."
You got to remember what pants mean in the UK. Anyway,
What does pants mean in the UK?
underwear. We had this conversation. We call trousers pants and pants is
Um,
underwear. Have you already
that's
forgotten?
you. Oh my! I'm so glad I'm not there right now.
Good thing. I
Anyways,
mean, you're gonna have to get re-educated, but that's a shame that you're never coming back here. And it's not like after
never.
this recording we're organizing. Anyway,
What?
what?
Wait, hold on. What? Anyways,
I haven't told you this yet.
so all right, I'm redirecting this conversation. Baby Driver. Out of the three movies we talked about, I would argue this is the one I would least like to see a sequel for.
Agreed. But it's been written. There is a
Has it
copy
really?
of this. I'm just saying this because it's a memory I have. I'm gonna check, but I'm pretty sure Edgar Wright has written it. Now, I would be amazed if it ever comes out, but
I
it's been written.
I feel like if anything, a prequel would make more sense than a sequel for this movie.
Yeah, but also, I mean, should we talk about the elephant in the room?
Which one?
The two elephants in the
Yeah.
rooms. I mean, one's a much bigger elephant.
They're in different rooms. I would argue they'd be in the same room.
No, one's in your room and one's in my room. One's a much bigger elephant, um, in the body of a
Okay.
smaller, older man.
Okay.
And
But
that
I
man,
don't want to be stuck with that elephant.
I never
The
said
other
you've
one.
got. I never said who's got what elephant. I just said there's
Yeah,
one
but
in
you
each room.
heavily implied it.
Okay,
Okay,
Kevin
what
Spacey.
elephant do you get? Oh,
Oh, okay. An awful man. Um, that's all I have to say on the matter. I was like,
no, it's so sad that he's such a obnoxiously terrible person
yeah,
because he's so good in this movie.
because like, sure, I think if you're going to be a horrible person, you shouldn't also get to be like talented and rich and well regarded. It's just my opinion.
So you think it's unfair?
Yeah, I think it's unfair. And also, I don't really know a lot about this Ansel Elgort controversy.
No, me either. But I know he is disliked for bad things he's done to people.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't do any of the things that these people have been accused of or proven to have done.
And
That's all we're going to say about it.
yep. But okay, so I mean, obviously, spoiler alert for Baby Driver, Kevin Spacey dies in the movie.
Yeah. I was
But
watching this film with podcast our third co-host Will. Can I call
whoa,
him
whoa,
that?
whoa. So when do we promote him to co-host?
Third
No.
co-host.
He's guest. He's our like
Okay. Can
57th guest.
we say primary guest?
Sure. He's our
Can
primary
we
guest.
say podcast best friend for both of us?
Sure. He's a podcast best friend.
He's our podcast best friend. I was watching this film with him, and Kevin Spacey got hit by a car. And I turned to him and I said, well, at least one good thing's happened.
Oh my God. The ending to this movie
Yeah,
is maybe one of my favorite endings of any movie ever.
it's pretty. Everything from Jamie Foxx being stabbed through the heart by a metal pole to, you know, what's the last thing in this movie? Them having a nice kiss is
I
great.
was I was thinking about this today though. I think Baby Driver is the least Edgar Wright movie
What makes you say that?
because okay, Baby Driver doesn't feel like a regular movie. It
Yes.
doesn't. But compared to the rest of his filmography, it feels the most like a regular movie. Like because when I think of Edgar Wright, I think of like Scott Pilgrim and those like.
I think it's kind of on par with Last Night in Soho.
That's true.
I think they're kind of just on par with, the kind of. I mean, this film's better, but I think they're both kind of ordinary feeling stuff.
Yeah, I forgot about Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd actually Last Night in Soho, I think, is the least Edgar Wright movie.
But still a good movie.
Yeah, it's so good.
We talked about that with Peyton JB.
He didn't like it, did he?
You wrap up. No. And that's why your first podcast co-host and Will is podcast best friend.
Didn't see Peyton in that list.
Peyton and I are great friends. Anyway.
Just kidding. Peyton, he's taking over after this episode.
He's not listening.
How do you know? Hey, Peyton, I know you're listening. I know you better than Dean. We're actually married.
Wow.
But, yeah. We got it under wraps, so we didn't want to, stir up too much controversy.
You've got, what, like a tortilla?
What?
You got married under wraps? I love how my own joke got me so much.
Uh
I feel like we're both trying to avoid talking about this.
okay, let's get into this. Let's just do it.
Let's get into it like we're chicken jumping in a fajita.
Nope. No.
Do you remember that time I cooked you fajitas? How sweet. Anyway,
They were really good.
thank you.
Okay, come on. Prequel or sequel? Are we giving this a pre or making it a prequel or a sequel?
Okay. So the thing I wanted to bring up, which I think will answer your question. Okay.
I swear to God, don't say what I think you're about to say.
What do you think I'm about to say?
I think you're about to say, is this series called Prequelify or
No, that's
Sequelify?
not what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say something serious, okay? Every film Edgar Wright has done has kind of been like a different genre.
Well, but yeah,
And,
kind of. I would
and
argue
like,
the Cornetto trilogy is different genres
yeah,
done the same way, kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
But
I mean, I guess, yeah, I guess you could argue about that about all his films. Oh, they're just different. Anyway, and he's like kind of said in the past, oh yeah, the reason I don't do sequels is because I want to make something new every time. So my question is, obviously we're getting Edgar Wright to direct this film because that's why this film works.
right.
Do we keep it this same kind of action, romance, heist genre, or do we change the genre but like continue the story?
Well, if it was Baby Driver 2,
Yeah, back in the habit.
yeah, I would say it has to be the same thing. But if it's in another movie taken inside the Baby Driver like world,
Yeah.
it could be different. It's kind of like this thing of like, well, I don't.
Okay, so
It,
like I think it would have to be kind of like a fast-paced action film, but does it have to like be car chases? What if you called it Baby
Glider. You just
Boss?
ba- the baby boss.
No, something doesn't feel right about this. I did think about as a joke to tell on the podcast. Can I tell you a joke I thought of while watching this film?
Yeah,
A joke to tell. I thought about it and I thought, that's a joke to tell on the podcast.
really.
And
Okay,
it's the sequel should be called The Baby Driver.
I don't know that one.
Did you hear that? Did it like how clearly did that come through?
I heard it like, hmm.
I didn't.
Alexa did not like that one.
Oh, she didn't hear you. That's good. I'm not going to say her name. I'm looking at her right now. Can you see her just above
Yeah.
my shoulder?
Yeah.
I didn't quite get. Basically, Alexa, the joke is that a lot of movies nowadays are putting the in front of the title when they're doing reboots, like The Batman, The Suicide Squad, The Mutants, The Blade, that sort of thing. And I was kind of making a joke about that, about how the next Baby Driver film should be called The Baby Driver. Do you get it now, Alexa? Sorry. I've said her name so many times and she hasn't picked it up once.
She's embarrassed.
She's like, oh, I get it now. Baby Driver sequel.
Baby Driver sequel.
Or prequel.
Okay, so
I think sequel.
You think sequel? Okay, well,
I think
sequel.
what interesting could you do with a prequel, you know?
I think you could do like maybe, robbing Kevin Spacey's character for the first time and him like learning the ropes and like doing his first like couple chases.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think a sequel will interest me more because I've got like ideas of what sort of thing could happen there.
Okay, what ideas do you have?
People that Kevin Spacey worked for are like, oh, I'm gonna go who worked for Kevin Spacey, or Kevin Spacey worked for like, I'm gonna get revenge on this kid. Now he's out of prison.
I think you could do something with John Berthnall's character.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely dead.
I know, but like,
He's a cyborg.
what if it takes place like 10 years in the future
Mhm.
and Kevin Spacey's son or whatever goes after
Nephew.
baby nephew goes
Yeah.
after
I
him.
mean, he's in prison for 5 years. So, yeah, we assume he's in prison for 5 years. It could be longer.
Yeah, and but like, well, are we keeping Ansel Elgort or are we just casting somebody else?
Just
I would.
cast an Ansel Elgort type. Let's just go with that.
Yeah,
Who
he
cares?
isn't like he's good in this movie, but he's not like it. Baby in it of himself is not like a very well written character.
Yeah,
It's not poorly
yeah.
written, but it's not like groundbreaking.
The thing is, so I really like Jamie Foxx in this. I really like John Hamm in this. I really like I
Yeah,
think they do really good stuff, especially John Hamm. I think
I
he's got
love
some.
John Hamm in this.
And but the thing is, if they recast everyone in this film with like a good actors, I would still really love this film, I think, Where
Yeah.
there's a lot of other films which I really love that if you recast every actor, I'd hate it.
Okay. Do you know who I think could play a pretty good John Hamm brother?
Who?
Robert Downey Jr.
John Mam.
Like, don't you think Robert Downey Jr. kind of gives off like similar energy to John Hamm's character in this movie?
Yeah, I get that. There was a really good. What was the really good John Hamm moment I liked in this film? Oh, when he puts on the earphones, when he's like
Yeah.
in the diner and he goes, "I ain't never gonna quit, cause quitting just ain't my stick." That John Hamm, you're a threatening guy. So what if? Okay, you just gave me an idea. It's
Okay.
like multi revenges happening at once. It's um, Kevin Spacey's nephew. It's John Hamm's brother. It's Jamie Foxx's son. I don't know. He's got a kid.
Wait, was Jamie Foxx ever like confirmed to be dead?
I mean, no, but he did get like stabbed through the chest, and there was blood coming out of his mouth because he was stabbed so hard through the chest.
Yeah.
You know, you could bring like John Bernthal back.
Yeah. I think we could
Some.
have him still be alive.
I think he's a really great actor, and yeah, I want to see him in more stuff. Did you watch King Richard?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good in that, and that was very un-John Bernthal. How do you say his last name?
Birth Bernthal, I think.
Bernthal. That sounds right. Then what am I saying? Bernthal. Bernthal.
So okay, so we have the nephew,
Yeah,
Sean Berthnall,
yeah,
and Robert Downey Jr.
yeah. Just Robert Downey Jr. was like, I was supposed to win an Oscar in 2018 for my part in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and instead,
Well, actually, Spider-Man: Homecoming came in 2017, but that's besides the point.
so did Baby Driver.
Wait,
That all I know is these two films came out the same year
I
because
might actually be wrong about that.
the first time I ever went to watch Baby Driver, I went to the cinema. They wouldn't let me in because in the UK the film was a 15. At the time I wasn't 15 and I was trying to get in and they're like, no, you can't go watch it. So instead me and my sister went to watch Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, I went. It's 2017. Okay. Whew.
But it would have been the 2018 Oscars because the Oscars happen in February.
Are you going for a high five? Is that what's going on here?
I'm being, I don't know. Yeah, high five.
Ready? And
That was a
high
joke.
five.
I mean, that was just a load of silence for our Spotify listeners.
For our audio listeners.
And if
Wait,
you want to know what happened to our
yes.
audio listeners, I took my bum out and then Harlan pretended to slap it. Anyway,
That's not what happened, Grandma.
are we doing? Does she listen on Spotify or on YouTube? Which one does your
I
grandma?
don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if she does listen.
You're just guessing that she might. You're like,
Just in case. Just in case she's like driving and then
is that
she's like, Harlan,
is there
you
anyone else?
slapped Dean's mom.
Is there anyone else you want to just clarify to, just in case they're listening, or is it just your grandma you're worried about hearing that?
Probably my aunt, both of them.
Yeah,
Wait, a couple. I want to apologize to my aunts.
yeah.
My flies too. Um,
What about like your parents? Are they fine with this?
oh yeah, they don't expect anything less than me.
They see you
They-
walking down the streets, just slapping strangers. on the...
Okay, so it's a revenge movie,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Do they all team up, or is it like, oh no, all these things are happening at once?
no, all these things are happening at once.
How come they all happen at the same time then?
Um, it's somebody's birthday.
What if, because it's such a big news story, Lily James and Ansel Elgort's replacement do like a TV interview, and Ansel Elgort's replacement says something like, "Yeah, they were all bad people," and then
Wait, why
everyone's
is
like,
Lily James being replaced?
"No, Lily James isn't being replaced. Ansel Elgort's
Oh,
being replaced by Alden Ehrenreich because I always get them confused because they've got similar names because I'm
who?
anti-Semitic. That what
Alden.
are they both Jewish? I think I'm definitely being anti-Semitic now.
Oh, Han Solo.
Yeah. I just think in my mind, Ansel Elgort and Alden Ehrenreich have similar names just because there's a lot of vowels in there.
There are a lot of vowels in there. Who are people like Ansel Elgort? Like,
We don't want anyone like Ansel
ooh,
Elgort.
what about Miles Teller? Do we
Yeah,
retest Miles
sure.
Teller? He
How
could.
what's the age difference there?
Ansel Elgort
He's
is
28.
28 and Miles Teller is
35. Yeah, that works.
35. Yeah, it's
Miles
fine.
Teller's a good choice, actually. Good job.
And thank you. Yeah, I think that could be really cool, actually. I think Miles Teller could arguably do a better job than Ansel Elgort. That's just me.
Yeah, and do less questionable things, allegedly.
Is Miles Teller like in hot water?
No,
I
not as
feel
far as
like I heard
he's in bloody hot water because he's so hot on the
hot.
beach
Oh, good
when he does his
one.
little
Okay.
for everyone listening on Spotify, I took my bum hound.
Grandma, no. Um, the joke again, I swear.
You did nothing that time, so that time it's fine, surely.
Oh, well, I don't want them to think bad about you
Oh,
more.
that's sweet of you. They
Any
probably
like, you
do if
know,
they're
any
listening
more
to
than
this.
they do.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so why so I don't think because if the nephew has to be older, right?
Yeah.
I want him to be like at least 20.
Well, like let's say how old is he here? 9? Do they say he is?
Let's just assume he's 10. Let's just
They
say he's
say
10
his
because it's
age. They
easy.
say his age. What do they say? I think it's 9.
Okay, fine, whatever. 9. Um, so he's 9. And he's like,
Name's
I'm gonna
Sam,
get
by the way.
same Sam. Okay, so Sam, if we want it, so like let's just make it an easy 10 years later.
Yeah.
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 So then Miles Teller age works. And I think if anything, it could be like the anniversary of like the events or whatever that happened that day. And
Yeah.
a news crew finds him. And then that's when everybody that wants revenge on Baby is like, he's here. We'll kill him.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
news story that alerts everybody of where Baby is or Miles. And yeah.
That works.
But I think it'd be interesting if every villain is like has like a different style. It's sort of like, the seven evil X's in Scott Pilgrim versus the World,
Yeah.
where like, you know, Robert Downey Jr.'s character
Is
is like big
vegan.
into is vegan, is like into motorcycles or whatever, and like baby's
Yeah.
like on a motorcycle, so then he has to do that. And then like one's on foot. Like what different things could we do of
No,
like
I
cool
think they just go for
chases?
different tactics. So one of them's all like, "Hey, I'm gonna steal all this guy's money, or I'm gonna like, I don't know, like frame him for a crime." And the other one's like, "I'm gonna murder him." And the other one's like, "I'm gonna take away his. I'm gonna kill Lily James." And another one's like, "Hey, I think we should all just come together and learn to love one another."
Okay, so I think John Berthnall should at first try to kill Lily James.
Yeah. Why? Why does he care? What's going on?
Um, because Kevin Spacey tried to kill him but failed, and he can't get revenge on Kevin Spacey, so he's going to go after Baby.
Or what if just like, hey, I'm not making money off Kevin Spacey anymore because he's gone to jail for all the horrible things he's done? I
Well,
mean,
Kevin Spacey's dead.
I was making a joke about all the horrible things
Oh, because
Spacey's
Kevin
done.
Spacey in real life is not dead.
Is arguably a worse man than Doc in Baby Driver.
No, he is
I mean,
100%.
we don't know a lot about it. Who cares? This isn't
That's
like
true.
a fun debate to have. I've changed my mind. Okay.
Okay, so let's map out what each character
Sure. So
wants.
does this thing start with a fun interview with Baby and
Lily
Deb?
James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Deborah. Baby and okay,
And
yeah.
it could honestly be one of like those fun news segments like you see on like a local station
Yeah.
where it's like the kid who was suckered into a life of crime finally speaks out. And he's like, My name is my name is Miles Taylor and I
The
am
we're casting Miles
we're
Teller
casting
and
Miles as
and
Miles.
his real name is Miles.
Oh my god. This is crazy.
What a world we live in.
Okay, so
Now
they
let's
interview
recast
it.
Kevin Spacey with Doc Brown. There's a UK reference for you.
I don't have like a cricket sound effect, but if
Okay.
I did, I would play
Cricket
it.
is in the British favorite pastime.
What was that?
Do you get like the sport cricket?
Oh, oh, I get the joke now.
It's a sport.
It's a sport with quotation marks.
No, I
Anyways,
honestly, I couldn't care any less about cricket. Anyway,
um,
I'm
whoa,
I'm sitting very like off center today.
you just like to can you hear the thunder?
No,
Um, it
maybe
is
it's probably
thunder
not.
and
It's probably
lightning.
not raining here. If it's raining there, like I don't think the weather's the same.
No, I meant, oh, okay.
Because if I
It's gonna
look out
be
my
one of
window,
these days.
it's already been one of these days. This is an
Yeah,
awful
you're totally
episode. I
right.
apologize to everyone involved. No, I don't.
Okay,
I apologize to everyone
so
listening.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
sees the news segment,
Yeah.
and
Well, everyone
he's
sees the new segment and they're like,
right, and he's like, "That's the guy that killed my brother.
yeah,
I'm going to go kill him."
yeah.
Okay, but like, why? Like, so
What
they,
if, okay, the only reason they're going to attack now is because this news segment gave away what town they live in. And before, nobody knew where this guy now lived after leaving prison.
Right. Oh,
That,
well, I have an idea. I have an idea. Ooh, I got an idea.
go on.
That was my ooh, I got an idea dance. So, Robert Downey Jr.'s character, I think it should open on him. It opens on him.
Yeah.
And in the first movie, they alluded to how like Bats thinks that John Hamm's character came from like a life on Wall Street and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
like made struck a bad deal. I think that's what's happening to Robert Downey Jr.'s character at that exact moment. And then as he's like, stereotypically walking down the street with a box full of his stuff, he sees baby on the news. And then like at that moment, he's like,
Everything that's gone wrong with me is because of this kid.
right. And so
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to start with it. You
Yeah.
automatically know his intentions. And then I think after that it focuses on baby. We get to see baby's life.
Does he have
You
a
know what I
kid?
mean? Um,
Does he have, how do I put this? A baby.
yes, he has. Yeah, let's give him a baby. The
A
baby that
baby.
Baby Driver 2 is just a baby driving. It's just a baby popping wheelies. You like it?
That was a round of applause for a clever and an original joke. But
I try.
if anyone is an audio only listener, that was Harlan clapping. I was not. I was arms folded, looking unhappy.
That's not what happened, though. That's not what happened. No, he's doing it now. Okay, so I think then we get a little bit of baby's life. He has a baby with
Baby has
Deborah.
baby.
Deborah.
Always looks like a zebra.
And then I think we hear rustling in the back or whatever, and it's like, oh, it's going to be Robert Downey Jr.'s character. Blah, 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 blah. And then it's the nephew. And
no,
the
can we say
nephew.
it's John Bernthal? I think it'd be.
No, 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 no. I have an idea. This is my idea. Okay.
Okay.
John Berthnall's like in prison, or he's not in the picture yet, but the nephew is going to start out the movie tricking baby and being like, "I'm your friend. I know this guy is coming for you," or like
Which
something,
one?
something, something.
Robert Downey
Well,
Jr.
I'm not sure. This is still a very infant idea.
Just
baby
like an
idea.
infant driver. Can that be what's called? Infant driver.
And so like he plays like the Zemo game. He like wants to trick baby into getting
Wait, Zemo in the Falcon the Winter
dead.
Soldier or Zemo in Captain America Civil War?
Captain America Civil War.
Never seen it.
Okay, so then what about John Berthnall's character? Do
I
you like
like
that idea for the nephew?
sure, where he's been all. I mean, him coming out of a bush, hearing some rustling, coming out of a bush. It's a funny idea. It's then going, "Oh, I'm your friend." But is he? Does it?
Or
Is
maybe he just like
does
rings his doorbell.
does it? Oh, what if like so we don't even find out that this guy is his nephew?
Okay.
Yeah, and he's just like, "Hey, what if he's okay? He is now a police officer." Or like something like that. And he rocks up and he's all like, "Hey, baby driver," because that's what everyone calls him in the movie.
Hey, look, it's Mr. Baby Driver.
And then he's like, "These people are coming for you."
Then
What if he
Miles
goes,
Teller's
"Okay,
like,
here's my idea."
yeah.
Nephew rocks up. His name's Sam. Okay, Sam rocks up, now police officer, and he's like, "Oh, these people are coming for you." Like he doesn't specify who. He's just that interview has upset some old enemies, and they're coming for you. He is just lying, and he has no idea that these people are actually coming, and that's just a little coincidence.
So then why is he there? He's trying to kill baby?
He's like, no, I think it's some kind of trick. some kind of scam, but I just don't know how.
But what does he want? What does Sam want from Baby?
Revenge.
Or maybe,
What if he's the guy like trying to frame him for something?
well, okay. So let's say I have a couple ideas, and you
Hmm.
let me know. There's two ideas. Maybe Sam wants to start an empire like his dad's, and he wants Baby's help with it,
Yeah.
or like his uncle's. Or maybe his name is kind of muddied from his uncle, and like he's trying to clear his name, and so he wants to have Baby take the fall for everything that he did as a kid.
Yeah,
Or
why
like,
we can do the I feel like we don't need to do the like we can go, oh, he's trying to like make it look like trying to frame Baby and being like, oh, it was him all along, and like he was the mastermind behind everything. But like I don't think we have to do the whole to clear my name thing, you know?
okay,
I
yeah,
think
so
we
we just
just go,
keep it like that.
yeah.
And then does he like, but how does he do that? What is he going to do to like catch Baby with his hand in the jar or something?
Okay. He brings Baby a jar.
And he's like, "Hey,
Put your hand in
put your
this.
hand in this."
And then
And he
no.
takes the picture.
And then yeah, jar.
Okay, so
Do you know what TikTok notification really annoys me?
what?
Do you ever get that TikTok notification which is take a break with today's trending videos?
Yes.
I cannot
Okay,
stand
come
it.
on. I don't need that.
Like,
I've already taken a break.
surely that's a bad thing to be doing, to be like, use social media more.
Okay,
Sorry.
gonna reel it back in.
Sorry. I'm really just, you keep like coming up with great ideas, and I'm sitting here going, my bum's out.
Okay, so
Harlan's grandma, my bum is firmly in my pants.
thank you. So I think is that no nose guy still
Eddie
alive?
No Nose. Yeah, he's
Eddie No
alive.
Nose?
Wait, which one gets killed? What's
It's
the?
the one who drops the shotgun. He's like, I
Oh,
dropped my
is
gun.
he's?
I
I
left it
left my shotgun behind.
behind.
Oh, JD. You see
JD.
that
So
JD over there? JD's an idiot or something like that.
I think Eddie No Nose comes back.
Is he
And
working with Sam? Maybe.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think he so Sam warns Baby. Eddie No Nose comes to like kill his wife or whatever. And then Baby ends up killing Eddie No Nose. But it's because like Sam orchestrated all of it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Can I? This is off topic, but this is still to do with the sequel. I'm not like about to bring out something really off topic. Okay. Do you know what something I would like to do with the sequel?
What?
We're too kind of deep into this now to fully explore this idea, but kind
Okay.
of have Lily James as the protagonist.
Yeah, I think we're too far into
Yeah.
that.
But we can, no, I think just give her more to do. She's great.
Or maybe Lily, or maybe Sam sends Eddie No Nose to kill the kid,
What
and
if, like,
then,
um,
and then wait, I got it. Eddie No Nose attacks Baby. They're fighting. They have a big chase, but Lily James is like the one who kills Eddie No Nose.
yeah, and this kind of like makes Sam's plan to frame him not work because now he's like, oh, now I because like his whole plan is to like create this elaborate thing where when Baby kills Eddie, he's gonna be like, oh, this is Baby getting revenge on one of his old workers or something like that. And then Lily kills him, and he's like, oh, my plan isn't really working. On to plan B.
And what's Plan B?
Um, he gives Baby a jar.
Well, what I was thinking was then Baby is like, I don't think Baby would ever like kill somebody unless like he had to. Well, actually, that's not true. He
I
killed
think it's
multiple people.
I think he'd kill him if this guy's about to kill his baby.
Right.
Side note, can his baby be called Joe?
Why?
Joe's the name
Oh,
of his adopted dad.
yes. Yeah, sure. But I'm like still like struggling. How do we match Robert Downey Jr., John Bernthal, and Sam and have it a cohesive story? Okay, here's
Have you
my
ever
idea.
seen Crazy Stupid Love?
No, I have not.
Okay, continue.
Um, so I think if anything, Sam gets Sam gets baby caught killing Eddie No Nos. Baby's put on trial, but before that, Robert Downey Jr. um helps baby escape from prison against his will, right? And then Robert Downey Jr. makes baby fall under the facade of like, oh, this person's nice. And then Robert Downey Jr. tries to kill him.
I think there's too
And
much
then
going on here.
finally, well, I'm trying to.
No, I'm not.
So
This isn't a complaint against you. This is a complaint against us.
I know. So like,
So I think like
you know what?
Eddie.
I think screw it. I think we have Sam in contact with John Bernthal and Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, what if? Okay, Sam is like after. Let's forget the whole Eddie No Nose thing. Okay, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take baby, come with me, and I'm gonna take you to this place, okay?" And at this place is where he's planning on framing baby, and they're driving there. And while they're driving there, their car gets hit, and it's John Bernthal coming for revenge, okay? And then while
Okay.
this is happening over here, and then Sam and baby are like trying to escape with their lives, and they're kind of on the run. RDJ shows up at the house, and Lily James needs to protect baby Joe. And
Okay.
then at the start of the third act, there's a scene where Sam reveals himself. Baby and Deborah meet back up, and then it's Baby and Deborah versus these three people coming towards them, and they're on the run from the police again for some reason.
Do we have Okay, this is just an idea.
A jar.
Maybe. Excuse me?
We get a jar. We give it to
Oh, I thought
Ansel
you said
Elgort, and then we catch him for all the bad things he's done.
I
Continue.
thought when I said I have an idea, you went duh. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Through the After the Lily James and Rob Downey Jr. fight, do we have RDJ's characters switch sides?
No. If he's anything like his brother, he ain't never gonna quit because quitting just ain't his stick.
Well, yeah, but John Hamm's like character is like he's a nice guy. I
Yeah,
think
but the second baby hurts someone he loves, he's like, I'm all out for revenge. Nothing's gonna stop me.
it's true, but like I feel like it's gonna be weird having three people going up against because like they did it in Baby, like there were Jamie Foxx and the two lovebirds
Yeah.
who I don't remember, Buddy and
Monica or Darling. Monica's
Darling.
her real
Okay,
name.
like
Darling, yeah.
but like Darling and Buddy kind of function as one person because they like travel together. So
Okay,
it'd
so
be hard. Like
what if John Bernthal kills Sam just before the third act and it's like a big whoa moment, you know? A bit like when Jamie Foxx is murdered, you're a bit like, whoa.
yeah, yeah, let's do that
Yeah.
because I
And
think
then
having those two and then So how does the Lily James Robert Downey Jr. fight go? Like, what is
I
that?
I think I don't know. It was just
Well,
my idea to give
honestly,
them more to do.
I think if John Berthnall's character, I think it would work better if John Berthnall's character meets Lily James
Okay, and then
and it's
RDJ is
swapped
going
around.
after Sam
Right,
and
because I think I want to because if Lily James, if like Baby sees, you know, Deborah running from John Berthnall, he's gonna be like, "Oh, that guy's here now too," and it'll be more interesting than Baby just seeing this random dude chasing Deborah and being like,
yeah,
"What happened here?" You know what I mean?
yeah.
So if we do that, I think it make a little bit more sense. And then they have a chase scene, unlike, but like, do they have the baby on them? Like, that's gonna be a little weird. Like, just
I think at one point they just leave. They like I don't know what you could do with it. You just drop the baby off somewhere.
yeah, what do you do with the baby?
Okay, let's say they're on the run from the police like they are in the first film, and they drop him off like outside an orphanage or something, and then you get a repeat of what happened with original Joe, where it's like the helicopter then appears, and then it's just a cool little, parallel.
And then the baby's like, "You never catch him alive."
Doesn't say he does sign language for good luck.
Yeah.
That was.
Okay. And then does the movie end with Miles dying?
No, because I feel like that kind of invalidates the first movie in a lot of ways. If they're like, oh, these two were fighting for their love for each other, but in the next film he's killed, in a completely different. You could
That's
do
true.
something Romeo and Juliet when they both die, but that's a bit dark. Romeo, oh Romeo, where art
Do
thou, Romeo?
do you have like well like it would be interesting if like uh
Okay, do you know what I wanted to find out in the sequel?
hmm
What happened to Eddie's nose?
that's the end credit scene. Um okay, but like how does this movie end? Did they all end happily ever after? I don't think so.
That's like a okay. What changes? What if the movie ends with Deborah going to prison for a little bit or something like that?
What did she go to prison for?
Murderer, tax evasion. The
I
tax
think
evasion bit was a joke.
oh, I thought you were serious. Um, do you end the movie like with them both going to jail?
Okay, let's go for our options here and why they don't work.
Okay.
So, if you end the movie on just a happy ending, nothing has changed. You know,
Yes.
these characters
And
are
the movie
exactly the
feels
same.
pointless.
Yeah. If you end it with one of the two leads dying, then it kind of invalidates the first movie in some ways.
Yeah. Ish. I say ish.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. Just the idea. I just like, I'm living in this world, okay, where Baby Driver 2 exists and Baby dies at the end of it. And I'm watching Baby Driver 1 and I'm like, oh, just guys, come on. This isn't worth it, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree, but like that's better than like them it both ending happily ever after though.
What else? Like, how can you change where they are?
I guess this is why they haven't made the sequel. Um,
I did Google it. It has been written, apparently, according to Edgar Wright, but he's not going to make it.
I
I doubt it.
think maybe nobody dies. Like maybe like they're able to. I think you end the movie with Robert Downey Jr. forgiving them and walking away.
But like, how does the movie build up to that point? You know?
I think well, the first time he fights Deborah, you see him struggling. Like he doesn't want to
Well,
hurt
he's
her, but he
fighting
has so much
Baby.
anger. Oh, right. He's fighting bait like because the movie opens on him like like he lost his job and like he's hurting, but he's hurting for a lot of other reasons outside of Baby, and he shouldn't be as like psychotic as his brother. I don't think. I think
Yeah.
like he's loony for sure, but not like insane.
Okay. Here's my pitch.
Okay.
All this crazy stuff happens, okay, and Sam's plan kind of works, and it looks like Baby's being hunted by the police again, just because there's been all these shootings and attacks that are linked to him. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he gets the opportunity to run away and like do the same thing that happened at the end of the last movie, and he like surrenders, and that's what's changed here. How he's now like actively rejecting this life of crime and being all like, "Hey, I'm not doing this anymore."
So like he immediately goes out and gets the police for help,
Yeah,
and then maybe like he is forced to run. Like they kill the police, and then like he doesn't have an option but to run.
well,
Like
yeah, I think run away from the people trying to kill him, not run away from the police. I don't know. What happens with Sam then? So Sam gets killed at the start of the third act, but like, how does he reveal himself to Baby? Like, that who he is all along? Like, what's the whole deal there?
I think like maybe let's say he brings them to this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then well, he should have something there for Baby to be framed with. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
he should be like the police are on their way.
Just Eddie No Nose's corpse.
Yeah, sure. And then the police are on their way. Like, well, the police are on their way, and then Robert Downey Jr. comes into frame, and like,
I ain't never gonna quit, girl. Quit and just ain't my stick.
and then
Girl,
that's
I'm
when
gonna
they
feel about you.
thank you, and then that's when like the second act breaks out, and then Robert Downey Jr. ends up like. I think if anything, Sam should be like, "No, what are you doing? Stop! You're ruining everything." And then Robert Downey Jr. just like kills him.
Yeah,
He's
but
getting in his way.
okay, but at what point does Sam reveal who he is, and what point is there a big moment about that?
I think like during that speech where he like, there's Eddie No Nose, the cops are on their way. I'm
Uh,
actually Kevin Spacey's
can
nephew.
I can I give you I feel sorry for that guy. Can I give you my pitch here?
Yeah.
So Baby walks into this room with Sam, and Eddie No Nose is dead on the floor, and then Buddy's brother walks out of the corner, and Sam immediately recognizes him and goes, "Oh no, not you!" And these two start like this big brawl, and Baby is there like, "What the frick is going on right now?" And like he just doesn't understand any of it, and then like he escapes with Sam, and then Sam explains what's going on, and then Sam gets killed, and then he has to fight Buddy's brother.
Yes.
Because
This
I
baby
kind of like
like
the idea of just these characters he doesn't know are just like going at it, and he's like, "What on earth is going on here?"
she have like a cool fight scene, like a cool like head like brawl, sort of
Yeah.
a
And like
fist fight scene.
very like Edgar Wright of like them just casually walking into this room being like dead body on the floor, Robert Downey Jr. in the corner. These two characters like are arguing about something baby just doesn't understand and he doesn't know who either of them are, then big fight.
Yes. And then back at home, Lily James is fighting John Berthnall.
Yeah.
And is that like a chase scene? Or is that like a
Well, yeah, what like she's like putting Joe to bed and she sees something out the window and is immediately like, oh shit.
yeah.
And like she goes to the secret locker in the house and grabs this big ass gun because they're like very because maybe she's very paranoid and she's got a bit of PTSD about all the murders she saw.
Yes. And then
I think
a
that's
third act
also a
breaks
chase
out.
scene. Yeah.
And then at the very end, I think Robert Downey Jr.'s character could see
I think
Baby and Lily James together, and he sees Buddy and Darling through them, and then John Berthnall's about to kill both of them, and then Robert Downey Jr. kicks him off a ledge, and then
but is that not just too similar to the first film where Doc is like, oh, I was in love once? That's just my devil's advocate.
well, we could make it a thing of like this character is righting Buddy's wrongs.
Yeah, that works.
And maybe like it would be cool if like the song that you've been singing so much, like the I'm never gonna give you up,
Cause yeah.
that could like be playing, and then he could because like John Hamm knows that song, so it would make sense that like him and his brother have like some
Yeah.
sort of relationship with it, and then
Big question. I can't believe we haven't got to yet. Like
yes,
major. Like how is like music factoring into all of this?
oh, it's like completely based off music.
Is it like
Is
the
that not?
same kind of thing where like baby's always listening to it?
Um, yes,
But is he not over his tinnitus now? Now he's been in like prison, or is he not? I don't know.
I think he still like it's like also like relieves like stress for him a
Yeah,
little bit
that's true.
too. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's the same guy. I think it's fine.
I mean, it's different guy. It's Miles Teller.
Oh,
Miles.
oh Dean. Okay, so but how do you feel about that ending? Robert Downey Jr. killing John Berthnall.
And then the police show up and they're like, hey baby, you're under arrest for killing Eddie No Nose and killing Sam and doing all of this. And then Robert Downey Jr. takes all the flack for that. And he's like, it was me. And then they take him away instead. And baby is as free as a bird.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So is that it?
I mean, there's still one big question left to answer.
Hmm.
What do we call this?
I
Everyone
think we
at
should
home
call
already
it the
knows
Baby Driver
because it's
2.
in like the title. Baby
The
Driver.
Baby Driver 2.
What about something like
The Baby Drivers.
no, like what? Like Edgar Wright's never done a sequel, and I can't really.
Or what if we just name it Deborah?
Mm.
Or we name it Joe Driver. Joe Mama.
What about like oh, I don't know. Like I don't know what you'd call it.
Let's just name it Baby Driver 2.
Oh, we need to think of a song that would work really well in this movie, and then we name it that song.
Or like we name it Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. Brighton Rock. That works well here.
I think Baby Driver 2 is a good placeholder though.
Yeah. What about Baby Driver? Can't stop driving, can't stop baby, and don't make me
Ooh,
stop ever.
I think that's perfect. I think you got it.
Thank
Baby
you.
Driver 2, Can't Stop Babying, Can't Stop
Can't stop driving.
Driving.
Don't make me stop ever. Full stop.
The end.
The end. We recast all the problematic people in this one.
Yeah. We just like we find how to like duplicate people, and it's just like all Bill Cosby.
It's like Austin Powers with Mike Myers, but instead it's Bill Cosby.
Okay, so do we
Speaking
want
of
to
Mike
go over?
Myers, he's referenced in Baby Driver. This
He
is the
is. Look
Mike
at you.
Myers mask. Oh, you mean Jason? It's a good bit. I also like the bit where Jamie Foxx goes, "Oh, he's long gone, baby."
Okay. Should we go over?
Yeah, let's just write this
we
thing. We have written the film, and I'm gonna now lay it out for you, Harlan. I'm gonna dish this out for you.
I purposely forgot it all, so hit me with it.
Okay, so Robert Downey Jr. in this film is playing Buddy's brother. So Mr. Van Hayten, I think his name is, or whatever. He's a Wall Street guy, and he makes a dodgy deal, and he loses his job, and he goes back to his apartment, and he's like, "Oh, all this is Baby's fault." And then on the TV is Baby and Deborah doing an interview, and this interview accidentally let slip where they live for some reason, and this wasn't known to anyone. And this interview is also like a good way for like people to be caught up on the plot of the first film as well.
Mhm.
And people see this news segment and they're pissed. So they're going to Baby's house. And Baby has a baby called Joe. He still lives with Deborah and they're very much in love. And it's very much like this perfect world until they get a knock on the door by a police officer. And he's like, "Oh, some old enemies are coming for you. I need you to come with me." And he's like, "Oh, let me bring Deborah." And he's like, "No, don't bring Deborah. Just come with me. I need to show you something." And they go and they enter this building. And inside the building is Eddie No Nose dead. And out walks from the corner is Robert Downey Jr.'s character, who is Buddy's brother, just to remind everyone at home. And this police officer and Robert Downey Jr. have this big, and they're like, "Oh, not you, it's you." And like, clearly they know each other and aren't happy to see each other. And they start fighting. It's quite like a dramatic and fast paced fight. And Baby is there and he's like, "What on earth is going on?" Like, he's so confused by this. But because like he knows this Sam guy, or I just gave away who he is, because he knows this police officer, and like he's like, "Oh, this guy's a police officer." Baby saves the police officer and they escape together. But like, this police officer is clearly annoyed and he lets everything out. He's like, "Oh, I'm Sam. I'm Doc's nephew, and I was here to get revenge and frame you for the murder of Eddie No Nose. But I didn't know Robert Downey Jr. is going to be here. And Robert Downey Jr. is Buddy's
Iron Man
brother, and he wants revenge on you as well. We both want revenge." Speaking of revenge, back at the Baby household, Lily James is putting Joe to bed, where she sees out the window something dodgy and she runs, grabs the guns from her safe because she's got a bit of PTSD, but she's also like really badass. And she makes a cool escape as John Bernthal, Griff from the first movie, is chasing her. And now there's these two chases going on simultaneously, and the police are now chasing Baby as well as Griff, because there's like gunfire and all this stuff. And just at the start of the third act, Baby and Deborah reunite. And they have this big, like, tearful thing. They're like, hey, Baby's like, "I'm going to protect you." And Deborah's like, "No, I'm not going anywhere, blah, blah, blah." And Robert Downey Jr.'s character sees this and he thinks back to Buddy and Monica. And maybe we get like a flash where like we see them or whatever. And Robert Downey Jr. kills Griff before Griff can do anything. And then all the police show up and Robert Downey Jr. surrenders himself and says, "This was all me. I did all of this." He goes to prison and Baby is now free.
Wow.
There is an end credit
And we
scene.
said Sam dies, right?
You said that? Oh, sorry. Did I forget that? Sam is killed by Robert Downey Jr. before Baby and Deborah reunite.
Yeah, so like while they're escaping.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to hear the end credit scene?
It's have to do with Eddie No Nose.
It's to do his nose is the only part of him that survived because it was cut off, and it is plotting revenge.
No.
Baby's nose.
Baby Driver 3. The Revenge of the Nose.
Eddie no, that's a no nose, no question, or whatever he says in the film.
Oh yeah.
That's like the tagline at the end of the trailer. You cut back to Eddie no nose and he goes, "That's an Eddie no nose, no question." Or whatever I said in the first film.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Okay.
All right.
What would you give Baby Driver out of 10?
9 out of 10.
Sorry, I was pooing my pants at the same time as asking.
What would you give Baby Driver out of 10?
Oh, let me give this a quick peruse inside my brain. Oh, maybe a 10.
Why do you give it a 10? Because it's perfect?
Because it's a perfect film for a perfect boy, you.
But I gave it a 9 out of 10, so it's not a perfect film for me.
Will is walking around above me right now. Sorry, I can just hear.
Okay, and what do we give our sequel out of 10?
7.
Yeah, I give maybe an 8.
Yeah. Okay, the real question is, you've got the magic button of HD Movie Talk in front of you, and if you press this button, Edgar Wright's going to start making this film with Miles Teller and Lily James and Robert Downey Jr. The button is there. Do you press it?
Yes.
So I don't know. I really don't know if I would. I do really like the idea of this film, but because it's Baby Driver, like if it was any other film, I'd press that button. But because it's Baby Driver, I'm like, ooh. Like the thing is, your favorite film is Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. If you had a magical button that could create this fictional Spider-Man 2, would you press it? Like, we don't know if that film would be awful or if it would be great, you know?
Yeah, I'd click it.
Who knows how good
if
Spider-Man 2
If I get the chance for Spider-Man 4 right now, I would click it.
I would click that button too.
So you're clicking the button?
I'd have to click it 3 times to get Spider-Man 2 and then but Spider-Man 2 might be terrible. Who knows? Guess we'll never find out.
Yep, guess we'll never know.
This is the little joke Dean is doing. I don't know. I feel like I have to give an answer. That's cool.
Yeah.
Would I press the button?
Press it. Press it.
It's not actually real.
Press
You know what? I'd press the button just because Edgar Wright. Just make a movie, bro. Tell me what movie you're making next.
Yeah.
Let me know.
All right. Oh, you know what? Honestly,
I knew we had the same thought at the same time. Why do we?
What if this movie doesn't? We never explain where this movie takes place.
Like, what if they made it take place in like China? What would that sound like, Harlan?
It would probably sound...
Okay. It would probably sound a little something like no. Okay, it takes place in China, but Baby and Deborah live above a pizza restaurant.
So every time they leave the house, you just hear "Mamma mia!" There goes the baby.
Oh, baby, go and get me a pizza pie. I don't know why I'm asking you to get me a pizza pie when this is a pizza shop.
End of the movie is this entire thing is just an origin of Joe's Pizzeria from Spider-Man 2.
Wait, what movie is that?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, is this a movie like you've done, like come up with separately or something? Like a
Oh yeah.
Like your own idea for what a sequel to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man would be like.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, adios. Thank you for listening. You listening to this like wreck of a podcast means the world to me, and I'm sure it does to Harlan as well.
Yes, it does. A little bit more, Dean, but
probably like the fact we should probably.
All right, guys, and that's it for today.
That's it for today.
Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for shutting me up. Because what I was about to I'm joking. Goodbye, everyone. See you next week.